You're listening to the Shale Gas News on 94.3 FM, The Talker.
Welcome back to the Shale Gas News. It brings me great pleasure and some agita to introduce our next guest, George Stark, Director of External Affairs for Cabot Oil and Gas Corporation. He and I were chatting earlier this week, and he said, let's get together and let's just discuss the year end here, Christmas, holiday season coming up, and I thought it was a good idea. So we welcome George to the program. Thanks for joining us.
Not a problem. Gentlemen, thank you for having me on. I'm excited to talk about the Christmas cheer so close to Christmas. It's a wonderful time.
Well, let's dive right into it. Obviously, I know working with you and working at Cabot, all the great stuff we're doing. But why don't you share with our guests the efforts that Cabot has taken during the holiday season, which it traditionally does anyways. But with COVID, we've made extra accommodations to support the organizations that are supporting those in need.
Well, and to pick up on your words, Bill, I mean, really based on COVID, we knew that the need would be greater. But we wondered if the industry and our supporters and our vendors would be there to be able to help. Because, again, this is affecting everybody. And the best news is we are having our best year. Been at this now for about 7 years, making certain that Susquehanna and Wyoming County interfaith have what they need from a standpoint of children waking up with toys or families having dinners on their table. And I mean, I know you were excited last year when we toppled $30,000 raised jointly by everyone. And the good news is we're there again this year, and we see it as a testament to our supporters, our vendors, our contractors. They budget for it. They know about it. They see the need. They ask us during the year. And this year is remarkable that everyone is saying, yes, we want to make certain that we help. We were not affected by the pandemic. We were working the whole time. We want to make certain that we pay it forward. And again, we started last year with outreach into Wayne County. And Bill, you've taken it to the next level there likewise. And again, not just Susquehanna and Wyoming, but now growing into Wayne. And, it must be something about the radio personalities because, who's your friend over there, Bill? Who's the guy that's giving you bad ideas?
Mr. Stanton. In fact, I just saw him walking out the front door when I was walking into the radio station. He has a beard. It's the first time I've ever seen him with a beard. And he said, I think it was because he was so cold from doing his charity shower event this past couple of weeks, he had to grow a beard to warm up. But no, you're highlighting the theme that we've discussed the last couple of weeks, the sincere generosity that this industry has had even during COVID. I expected us to be down on our partnerships this year, and it's been up. And it's I'm grateful for those opportunities, those relationships, and just the ability to support these organizations that are taking care of those who really need it this part of the year.
And again, to grow the idea that we were able to make certain that Michael had $5,000 for himself in Wayne County to raise for Children's Bureau over there. And if I'm not mistaken, they're setting a record at their amount of money raised. So again, you're seeing we get to be a supporter in Wayne County and help, and then we get to be a lead in Wyoming and Susquehanna and have a lot of folks come behind us and say, look, Interfaith needs this. Make this donation for fuel cards so people can get gasoline in their vehicles to get back and forth to the department stores. Make certain that they have a ham or a turkey on their Christmas morning plates. So again, it's just wonderful, as you said, to see the generosity, and it's so touching because they all stepped forward. And again, it's wonderful to see. And we also knew that in Pittsburgh, our Pittsburgh staff had the same sort of idea. And we normally do a toy drop-off. But this year, we're not in the office, and we had to move to a virtual toy drive. And we're seeing success at that. So definitely a new year for the toy drives, but I can say that COVID has not dampened people's enthusiasm and their support.
And George, you touched on, like you said, the COVID and the pandemic, and it's like it's just great to see everybody step up. And I think everybody's appreciative for what we have and realizing, we have to help our neighbor when we can. And in one area, when the schools in the spring went to virtual, it sounds pretty simple and okay, we're going to learn from home. But I think we realized real quick the technology gaps that a lot of these, the small communities have. And I know you guys stepped up and helped out there. And maybe talk a little bit about what you guys did when we went virtual. And some schools are going virtual now, and I think it's still benefiting them.
Well, I appreciate you bringing it up because I think, again, we want to make certain that schools do realize that the assistance is there if they need it. But the bottom line was, as you mentioned, last year, beginning of the school year, the schools were not prepared for COVID. They didn't have remote learning capabilities. They didn't have enough Chromebooks and enough things to send home with the students. And we heard it clearly and quickly. So we were able to take donations that we would have used to mobilize our mobile learning unit that goes into the classroom. Well, we're not going into the classroom. So let's take the dollars that we would have paid and let's buy Chromebooks. Let's get those netbooks and Chromebooks out to the classes. And again, it's a wonderful relationship with folks who can really look at the need and assess it. Melissa Turlip is a wonderful resource that we were able to lean upon, and she was able to quickly differentiate between which schools' needs were at what level and make certain that we were hitting the mark at the different school districts. And we saw it clearly in the rural areas. I mean, it's just something that's missing from a connectivity, and at times we even had to help make certain that bandwidth, not just the netbook was available, but if they were having difficulty with the broadband, can we help with paying the family's bill for broadband, or could we help boost the signal in a community so that kids could make certain that the lessons coming to them at home were being received? And again, I don't see this ending for 2021. I think this will be another piece that we'll have to have at the ready for the next 6 months. So again, we're happy to help those rural school districts in their time of need because we know it wasn't planned for. And this is something we want to make certain we can help with.
Well, and I think that speaks to Cabot's legacy in the community all the way back to the hospital, to the college, Lackawanna College School, PNG, to our work with the CDL program, the Career and Tech Center, our ability to be flexible, meet the community needs, and our contractors' willingness to help and work with us has been tremendous. I do want to ask you before we have to let you go here in a couple minutes, what are you looking forward to in 2021? We're coming up on a new administration. We're coming up with, it's kind of the same thing in Pennsylvania. If you think about it, we still have Governor Wilf in the same legislature. But there seems to be this essence that 2020 is going to end while we still have to deal with COVID a little bit. What are those themes that you're looking forward to in 2021, and especially for the work you're doing at Cabot, the company, and the industry?
Well, again, the best news is it builds off of the natural gas that Cabot's producing. So the benefit is into 2021, we will continue doing what we're doing, but we want people to recognize natural gas is the feedstock that makes the plastic, that makes the plexiglass, that makes the PPE, and makes the petrochemicals that we all need. If the pandemic has shown us anything, we cannot be reliant on foreign markets. So what I'm excited about in 2021 is the opportunity to take the natural gas that's underneath our feet in Pennsylvania and start using it for manufacturing purposes. People talk about the amount of gas that Cabot produces or the amount of people that we employ. The reality is we're just the product. We're just the feedstock, we want to get it into the manufacturing side. We want the PPE made here. We want the petrochemicals made here. I think as crazy as 2020 has been, we set ourselves up for a good foundation with leaders in Harrisburg saying, time out, we're too dependent on foreign markets. Let's reshore industries here. And let's take advantage of the natural gas that we have here. Rusty knows this. We've got the workforce here. He and I have spoken about this in the past. The muscle memory is here. Let's get the folks, put them to work, making the things that America needs to stay strong. That has me by far the most excited for 2021.
I couldn't agree with you more, boss. I'm excited about it. I think everybody's ready to be done with COVID in a responsible way, of course. But what are the lessons we've learned? And we've said this on the show. Matt and I have talked about it. Rusty and I have talked about it. Even DC and I have talked about it on the program. What are we going to take away from COVID? I think the fact that we know that we didn't have the productivity or the ability to produce certain key products in this country prior to COVID. What are we going to do going forward? Hopefully the Commonwealth and the government at the federal level institute policies and practices to allow us to attract those businesses here, to build that out. I'm talking jobs. I'm talking products we need, a good economic boon for everybody. And that's what I'm hoping 2021 is the start of a new decade to really get this thing going right.
I would agree with you. And I love the idea that we think about it from where we happen to be in Susquehanna, but it also goes all the way down to Matt's backyard, Clinton County, Lycoming. That entire corridor is ready for world-class manufacturing to locate here. And that's the opportunity we have. And I'm looking forward to it. And again, I know for a fact the Lockharts taught me 10 years ago about how natural gas produced bright Christmases for the landowners in Susquehanna County. I want to be talking about those manufacturing jobs producing bright Christmases for the new workers that take advantage of our feedstock and get employed manufacturing the quality goods that America needs.
George Stark, thank you for joining us on the program. Director of External Affairs for Cabot Oil and Gas, sharing with us all the great news that Cabot, the industry, contractors, vendors have been taking it, going the extra mile this year to support organizations and people in need. And we're looking forward to a great 2021 with you. We'll have you on the program again real soon.
I appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you and all your listeners. Happy holidays.